Hi, here's what we're taking a look at today, piecewise functions. One of the typical functions that you're going to see on a Common Core exam is a piecewise function. What it is two functions on the same graph. They could either be two lines, or in this case, a line, and it looks like a portion of a parabola. The most common piecewise function, as you will recall, is the absolute value function. Okay? Let's take a look at a little more detail about how you would write an equation for a piecewise function. All right, so we have those two lines. Notice the regions from -4 to 1, that's this line, and from 1 to 3. So what we're going to have to do is write a function that includes two equations. So the way I'm going to write that first region is from -4 to 1. And what I'm concerned about is the x values in there. So now I've got an inequality that represents the region from -4 to -1. Okay? I'm sorry, to +1. Notice, these two endpoints are included. So I need lines underneath them. Okay? Now what I have to do is write the equation for that inequality. So an equation for, for that line. An equation for a line is mx plus b. Notice b is the y-intercept. What's the y-intercept for this line? It's 1. Now what I have to determine for that line is the slope. To find the slope, you could pick any 2 points. I'm going to pick this one and that one. And notice I'm going up 1 over 1. And if I simplify that, I get x plus 1. So my equation for this region is y is equal to x plus 1. So when I have this function and I want to know the equation between -1 and 1, -4 and 1, that's the equation I'm going to use. Now if I want to take a look at this equation, the region is from 1 to 3. Notice these two numbers have to match. This is an open circle. If it's an open circle, I do not have a line underneath. If it's a solid circle, I have a line underneath. Now what I need to do is write the equation of that line. So first thing I need to know is, what is my y-intercept and my slope? Notice this does not cross the y-axis. But what this thing is doing, it's going up 1 over 1. So if I wanted my slope, it's also up 1 over 1 x. However, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So that line looks like that. The difference is it's not going up. If you look from the left to the right, it's going down. So instead of being +1, it's going to end up being a -1. My y-intercept in this case now, I see it's 0. So I really look something like that, which is just -x. So from the region between 1 and 3, that equation is just -x. That's what a piecewise function looks like. That's how you would write the equation for that piecewise function shown there. Kind of look tricky, kind of complex. Let's look at one more real quick. So now, here is another function. We only have one region here. So from -1 to infinity, we've got this equation. We've got that line. So again, I'm going to write f of x equal to, certainly do better than that. We've got two equations. The first one is, that's just x is equal to 1. So from the region we're going to say x is less than -1. What is the value of that line? It's just 1. So from -1 to infinity, it's always going to be 1. Now we're going to take a look at this thing. It looks like a parabola. I mean, I could kind of say it might look something like that. Literally what it has done, parabolas look like this. However, it's been transformed. If you notice, this function has been moved down 1, 2, 3 units. That's my equation for my second line. And this one is for x greater than or equal to -1, and our equation is x squared minus 3. That is the equation for that piecewise function. Hope that helps you understand a pretty tricky function that you need to master. Good luck on that Regents exam.